Oh my goodness. Hey there, YouTube. Hey guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, I stayed until close at work last night. I'm at work again right now. Very, very tired right now. My eyes hurt right now. Like, when I first got up today, it was it's weird because it was very, very gray and cloudy and, like, you know, kind of a little bit rainy off and on. It was just a very gray day. And it seemed like it was going to be cold and that kind of thing. And now that I'm at work at the club here in the parking lot, it's just so bright and sunny. It's not even that sunny or that bright, but it feels like that to my eyes right now. Like, my eyes are just like, oh my gosh, like, wow. It just feels really bright to my eyes right now. Woo. So yes, I get so distracted by people in the parking lot. I was pretty happy with being able to stay until close again here at work last night. If I do that again tonight, it'll be my 4th shift in a row doing that, which is pretty cool. Always happy when I'm able to do that. It is really tough. And yeah, I'm sure, like, as soon as the weather really changes, which probably will be pretty soon, I doubt I'm gonna be, I don't know. I just want to do this now, just the way that the schedule is here at the club for, like, employees and stuff like that. Like, this just seems to be, these shifts lately just seem to be how I like to do it. So they change the schedule, and, like, a lot of employees come and go here a lot, like, very frequently. So I've always just kind of based a lot of how, because as a dancer, the dancers here make our own schedules and our own hours, but I've just always kind of based my schedule and how I work a lot around who else is working. I know that's, like, silly and probably not a very good way to do it, but it's like, but for that, it's that and the weather. The weather is definitely, like, a big main thing for me. And then, yeah, also, like, who else is working, because I like to, I don't know, it just really affects things for me. These days I like pretty much just about everybody that works here, which is awesome. But yeah, like, I don't know, just certain shifts have, like, the vibe that I prefer, you know, kind of thing. So anyways, when I did my video yesterday, oh, and I'm sure you guys might have seen, I was kind of upset, not upset, but I was kind of bummed about my dancer friend Paris was supposed to come on with me yesterday and she didn't. And when I did a live video from the club last night, there was a pink balloon and I was, like, just playing around and being silly, and I was like, guys, pretend this pink balloon is Paris for right now. We'll just practice for this round. And then towards the end of the video, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to draw her face on this balloon. And I did end up doing that, and I posted it on here. I haven't even checked back to look at that post yet, because guys, I'm so tired right now. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, so before I did my I did 2 videos yesterday. Well, I guess technically the second one was into Wednesday because it was after midnight, but depending on how you want to look at that. The last 2 videos that I did, basically the first video that I did yesterday in the afternoon, before I did that video, I had just been on the phone with my mom. And my mom and I do not typically talk very often. I've mentioned her on here before quite a few times. We have a very strange relationship. I don't want to say strange. It's, I don't know the word for it. I really don't. I love her very much. We tell each other we love each other when we talk, that kind of thing. But it's been a difficult relationship throughout the years. Sorry, there's a guy standing there, and he's facing the other way, thank gosh. I could only see like the shadow out of my eye, so I was like, I hope he's not just like facing my car and like watching me, but he's not, I don't think. Maybe a little bit, I don't know. He's like, okay, now he kind of is. He's just smoking, it's no big deal. Okay, I have to focus. Oh my god. Guest appearances. You know what? Paris wasn't ready to make her guest appearance yet, so fine. If other people want to do it, come on in the background, whatever. Anyways, so my mom and I were talking on the phone yesterday. When we talk, after we get off the phone, I'm just like thinking to myself, like, I really do love my mom. Like, you know, like the vibes on the phone I want to think they seem okay. When we don't talk, like when there's been a period of time that we haven't spoken, which happens more often than not, things from the past, because we have always had a pretty difficult relationship. Things in the past will kind of like come back up, you know, to the surface, or whatever you want to call it, however you want to put that, to where me not really knowing how to feel about her or our like relationship, you know, kind of resurfaces, comes back up. I feel more unsure, like more of the feelings of like, oh, she's never really liked me. Like, does she actually even hate me? Like, to that, you know what I mean? Like, just stuff from the past. And even now, like, you know, because we really don't talk that often. Just a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of uneasy feelings. I had mentioned to her before, but then yeah, when we are talking on the phone, it's like, it kind of feels more okay. Like, you know, like, I'm not sure why that is, because really our conversations aren't really that, they're not bad, but they're not great. I don't know, like, she'll still say stuff when we talk that still makes me feel like very, like, a lot of question marks for me and very uneasy, like very confused. But when we talked yesterday, I had mentioned my YouTube channel to her before, just kind of casually, briefly, not really going into very much detail. We talked a little bit more about my YouTube yesterday, my YouTube channel. And she did seem kind of interested this time. She was kind of like, I don't know, almost wanting to like know the channel name to like watch my videos and that kind of thing. And I told her, I'm a very honest person. So I was just like, well, you know, I have mentioned you on there before, Mom. And I was like, you know, I've complained about you a little bit. And I've, you know, just like, and I said, I was like, I know you get upset easily sometimes about stuff. So I'm not too sure if a part of me is just like, whatever, because obviously like pretty much anybody could see these. Like she could still come across my channel anyways, like even without me telling her the name of it or like sending her the link or whatever. I'm sure she could still come across it somehow eventually, or the algorithm would just like show her somehow. because I know she is on YouTube. Like, she said she has a screen name or like a username, so I'm sure she could still come across it regardless. But I don't know. But it is just like, anybody could see this stuff, and it's so personal, and it's so like, a lot of it is so embarrassing and so like, well, I guess it's not personal, but it's weird because like, it's so weird to think about the stuff that I say here on the internet for like anyone to come across. This stuff I wouldn't say to like most people that I work with here at the club, even though obviously they could come across this channel too, and they could end up finding out about a lot of the stuff that I talk about on here that way. But like, and my friend Paris, my dancer friend that I've been mentioning, like, I wouldn't tell her a lot about this stuff. Most of the stuff I wouldn't mention to her. Like, even my favorite people that I can think of that I talk to the most frequently here, a lot of the stuff that I've mentioned on this channel, I wouldn't mention to them. Or like anybody. And yet I put it out there on the internet. So it's weird. It's a very strange dynamic for me with all this. I just feel more able to be more myself on here for whatever reason, because then it's kind of like, I don't know, whoever comes across it, comes across it. I'm not really directing it at any one specific particular person to have like a one-on-one, like kind of interpersonal relationship where they know this or they know that, or like, it's just whatever. It's just for the world. It's for YouTube. It's for just like, generalized. I don't know. Maybe that's it. I'm not, anyways. Yeah. Recently, I got something in the mail for life insurance, okay? And I wanted to talk to my mom a bit about this because I was very confused. It's addressed to me because, yeah, I got it in the mail. But it looks like a bill. I mean, it is a bill, but it looks like a bill that I'm supposed to pay. So it's addressed to me. It has my name at the top of the paper. And then underneath my name, it says C/O and then my mom's name. So I guess that's like co-owner, I'm guessing. And then it says permanent life insurance, notice of payment due, duplicate, original sent to payer. The face amount, which I guess I Googled that. At first I thought it was what I was gonna get if my mom, or like when my mom dies. So, but apparently when we talked, she said this is actually what she would get when I die, or if I die. Oh my God. So the face amount for whoever that's supposed to go to, I guess her, it's not for very much money. So at first when I saw this, because yeah, when I first saw this, I thought it was what I was gonna get if she died. We don't really talk much, like I said, so we had never really talked about this stuff before. She never taught me anything about money, finances, really much of anything. Like, lucky for us, we have the internet to Google stuff and I can learn stuff that way. I don't know. But so I was just thinking, like, I had always kind of thought, just from the generalized sense that I got from stuff, like, throughout I don't know, like, I've never really researched this, but I thought that life insurance, like what kids would get from their parents if they have that kind of thing, that kind of, like, insurance policy, I thought it would be for like a lot more. So when I saw the amount in the paper, I was like, oh damn, I'm really even more screwed than I thought. But it gets better, or no, it gets better for you guys, but it gets worse for me. So hold on. As usual, better for you guys, worse for me. So I was just like, but then when we talked, I was like, damn, like, this is like not very much at all. And because when I was a kid, I remember at one point my mom, this is what I mean by my mom being very confusing. Like, she will say things and then later on say something completely different. So when I was a kid, I remember, like, we didn't talk about this stuff very much at all, if ever. But there was, if something about stuff like this was mentioned, it was usually very brief, very casual, not going into detail. But I remember like there was like a movie or something got brought up, like the subject of like parents dying, or I don't know. And I do remember she said at one point like that if she died or when she died, I would be getting a lot of money from. She didn't go into detail. She didn't even say it was from insurance. She didn't say it was a life insurance thing. She just said that, she said, oh, when I die, you'll be getting a lot of money. So, and I think I was so young at that time. I didn't really think about money like I do now. So at the time, I didn't really think much about it. I was just like, it was, yeah, kind of just like, okay, sure, that's great, I guess. But I really didn't think that much about it. But so, yeah, we talked about this. I mentioned this thing I got in the mail to her yesterday. And she was just like, oh, no, that's actually what I would get if you die. But do you know what she said, you guys? She was like, that's my investment. I was like, what? I was like, you don't plan on me dying, do you? Like, you didn't freaking take a hit out on me or anything. But she literally said word for word, that's my investment. And I was like, okay. But you know what else she said? Because I was just like, Mom, like, this isn't very much, you know. And because she's been making monthly payments. So I was like, is this really worth the monthly payments? I feel like the monthly payments that if she's been making, she said she got this when I was a baby. And I'm doing the math, and the monthly payments are almost $50. It's like 43 something. So I'm just thinking, there's no way the monthly payments should be making on this throughout the years. That would be so much more than what she would be getting. When I Googled this, it said maybe you can transfer the policy to your kid when you die. I don't know how this is supposed to work, but she didn't go into detail. Like, this is all so confusing to me and kind of concerning. But then I was like, okay, well, what about, like, if you were to die first, would I get anything? And she was like, oh, I don't have life insurance. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, crap, I'm even more screwed than I thought. I wasn't surprised, honestly. Like, I don't exactly, like, count on a whole lot of, like, stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like, but basically she made it sound like if I die first, she's going to be getting money. And if she dies first, I'm not going to really be getting anything. So that's fine, whatever. Like, I don't want to have everything be about money. That drives me nuts. Like, but it does sound concerning to me. And I almost died many times, not many times, but I had like 3 brushes with death when I was a teenager where I almost died. And I remember at some point not that long ago, I kind of started to wonder, like, do parents, because I always like kind of had heard of the concept of kids getting money when their parents died, but I didn't think that parents got money if their kids died. And I just started to wonder if that was a thing, like, within the past few years, with how, like, she doesn't really talk to me a lot. Like, our relationship has always been weird. A lot of times I've always kind of felt like maybe she hates me or, like, just doesn't like me at best. So just within the past few years, I started to wonder if maybe that was a thing too, if maybe parents actually were able to get money when their kids died. And when I Googled it, it said, yeah, obviously, because apparently this is a thing. But this was I don't know, like kind of recently, maybe a few years back. But even then, like, we never talk about this stuff. So I guess up until yesterday. And even then, yesterday, we didn't talk that much about it. But so a few years ago, when I found out that parents can get money when their kids die too, I still at that point didn't know that my mom actually had done that and taken out a policy on me. But it did kind of give me a sinking feeling a little bit, because I was like, damn, I wonder if she would have done that. And if maybe that's why, like, she kind of just didn't seem to care about me throughout the years, and almost like in a way maybe might have wanted me to die or something. So now finding this out, it's just like, well, I just don't know what to make of it. Like on Google, it says that sometimes if the parent has a policy on their kid like that to get money when their kids die, but then if the parent does end up dying first, they can transfer that policy to where the money would actually go to their kid. It's so confusing to me. She didn't mention anything like that. Like, oh, don't worry, if I die first, it will go to you still. So she didn't mention anything like that. That's just kind of what I thought it might have said on Google if I was reading it right. But she didn't even say that. So all she said was that she doesn't have life insurance, like for me to get anything from her. And she was like, oh, but don't worry, I have a house. I was like, Mom, no, you don't. She's living in an old person's house, like in an old folks' home. Not an old, like, I don't know. I've never been there. It's like states away. It's like too much of a drive. We haven't seen each other in person in over 10 years. I was like, Mom, you don't have a house. She's living in an old folks' home. And she's like, oh no, it's kind of like a house. She is so confusing. I really feel like this is all just psychological torture. I'm like talking to an app. Is this even my mom that I've been talking to on the phone? Like I said, I haven't seen her in person in so long. It's like, this can't be right. Like something's not right here. I was like, because she's made it clear she doesn't have a house. She used to have, before she moved to Florida a while ago without telling me, like years and years ago. And now she's moved back to the general area, but still quite a bit away. She's still states and states away from me to where it's too much of a drive for us. But when she moved to Florida, she didn't tell me. But before she moved there, she was in a nice house that she just left all our stuff there, like had her husband drive back up or something after they were both in Florida. He came up on his own and like sold all our stuff. I had no idea this was going on at the time. I saw that house on the market a year or so ago, pretty recently. Because this was like quite a few years back that she moved to Florida and then moved back up here. I think it was like 2017 she moved down there, and then she moved back up here just the past couple of years. But the past year or so, I did find that house that they moved out of up here. It was online, and it was online for quite a bit of money. But when she talks about it, she says that she lost money on that, with that house for some reason. Like they just were in such a scramble and a rush to move. It was like all very spontaneous when they moved to Florida. Like they just left their stuff up here. They like drove down. She said that she's like on a whim, like drove down to Florida in the middle of the night years and years ago, left all their stuff, then later had her husband come up and sell the stuff on his, like he has MS. He struggles with stuff mentally and physically. I don't even know if he should be driving, yet alone. I mean, he wouldn't know what to do with our stuff, but that's what you guys, something's not right, okay? Like, I know that I have mental struggles, but I'm aware of them. Like, I know that I'm not all there. I know that I'm like not the brightest bulb. It sucks, but I'm at least aware of it. I don't know what's going on. I've never known what's going on upstairs with my mom, like with stuff. I don't think she's the most financially responsible person, from what I can tell. When I was growing up, she would spend money on the weirdest things, just like very frivolous, to me, what seemed like very like, but she would spend a lot. She would shop a lot. We weren't, like, my parents weren't like super rich or anything. Like from what I could tell, like, I would say middle class probably, but if anything, probably lower middle class. Like she was working, but not like, it's all very confusing to me. Like, we never discussed any of this stuff. We still haven't. Like, it's all very vague, very confusing to me. from what she says now, they lost money on that house that they moved out of years ago, but it's on the market for quite a bit. So I'm like, why would it be on the market for that much if they lost money from it? I don't know. It's so confusing to me. But it was a nice house. And for me to say, I don't think maybe she's not that financially responsible. It's like, why would you have that nice house that can be on the market for that much, but now you're living in an old folks home? I don't want to be judgy or like have everything be about money. It's just very confusing to me. And me being a dancer, like I don't make much money as a dancer. I can't stand being a dancer in the financial sense. Like I do this for a workout. You know, I'm actually very fortunate. So back in 2020, I'm fortunate in some sense of where when I was doing a caregiving job a few years ago, I was so upset to have to do that job back in 2020 when the club was closed for COVID for like 5 months or so. I ended up just getting a real job because I was just like stuck on my own. There was no way to really figure out what to do for when the club was closed. So, you know, I was like, that sucked. And I was not crazy about the caregiving job that I ended up doing. But one of the very, very, very silver lining things with that, I was, to this day, I'm just like, wow, I guess that did maybe happen for a reason, at least in that sense, was that one of the people that I was working with, one of the older people, before they died, they left me a little something. So thank gosh, because especially now, I'm just like, what would I do otherwise? Because with the dancing, I really don't make much, if anything. I'm basically just dipping into my savings. Like I try to do it as slowly as possible. You know, like I don't spend, but that comes at a huge cost. I mean, I try not to spend any way that I can cut corners, like trying to like save money and like save what I have and not spend. Because I don't want to have to like do lap dances in VIP rooms with guys here if I can help it. I'll do it from time to time, but I really don't like doing it. And I mainly just try to dance on stage here and make a little bit of what I can that way. But especially doing this job, money drives me nuts. And I just don't, I can't stand the thought of having to suck up to these guys and like, you know, especially the regulars, like, or guys that have money, like, no, like I just can't do it. It sucks. So whatever I have to do to just cut costs, cut corners as far as my spending, I'm trying to make what that older person left me before they died, I'm trying to make that last as long as I can, obviously. But now I'm really, because in the back of my mind, I was like, well, maybe when my mom dies, like I'll at least get a little something to help with this and make it last a little longer. But apparently, I don't know. I kind of want to call her back and just be like, Mom, why is it that you would get stuff if I die, but I wouldn't get stuff if you die? That just seems very odd to me and very strange. Like, that just doesn't seem right. And it really freaks me out. I'm like, is she gonna like take a hit out on me? Because she wouldn't even have to pay the person. I'm sure they would just do it for free. You know, like I don't know. Just this sucks. This is all so concerning and confusing to me. And I just hate money so much. Like, I did see something on Facebook recently about like with how AI and technology is taking over so many jobs and replacing so many human jobs. There's like an idea floating around, I guess, about like one basic universal income, to where the question was kind of raised, like, what if that happened at some point in the future? Like, what if people didn't have to actually work at some point in the future? And then at first it's like, oh, well, that sounds so amazing. Like, so many people seem to hate their jobs and stuff. I love dancing, but I do hate like money, feeling feeling like I have to make money doing this, because yeah, the club that I work at, we pay to work here. We pay. They don't pay us, we pay them to work here. So, and just, yeah, like me with my wigs, like all of the stuff, like being a dancer is very expensive. I try not to spend like as much as I can, but you still have to, like, you know what I mean? Like it's still, you still got to get the outfits, the shoes, all of the stuff, pretty much. So, but then it's like, yeah, if people didn't have to work, if there was a universal basic income, whatever they were saying about that online, that idea that's like floating around out there, I guess, sometimes. If people didn't have to work, what would we really do? Like what would we structure our days and our lives around? As far as like, not so much finding meaning, but just like finding anything to do, really. Like what would we do with ourselves? Because really trying to work and generate an income and that kind of thing, that's pretty much what everything is just about. It seems just about everything is structured around that. Like pretty much just about everything. Then it's like, yeah, like we have so much technology nowadays just taking so many of the jobs that people used to have, that it's like, I don't know, I feel like it does raise like some very kind of strange, interesting questions when it comes to stuff like that. And I mentioned in my last video how sometimes when I was a kid, when I would be at the mall from time to time with my mom or my gram, sometimes people, like strangers, would just come up to them and hand them a card, like, because I was a cute kid. I mean, I was pretty cute. And I guess from the sounds of it, what my mom and my gram said is they were like trying to hand them cards about like trying to recruit me for like TV shows or modeling, maybe. I'm not too sure. Which at the time, deep down, a part of me thought that was so cool, and I was kind of like, yeah, maybe I would want to do that kind of thing. But then my mom and my gram have always been very conservative, especially my gram, and they would just be like, no, like you don't. Well, both of them are very conservative. And my mom was like Christian and stuff, and she would always be very against the media and like me being influenced by the media, which is, it's so funny to me now that social media people are called like influencers, because my mom, when I was growing up, was always like, she really didn't want me to watch a lot of TV. I mean, I did still watch, like she would get me movies like to rent back when they had the movies on the VHS and stuff, but I don't know, she was also like very weary of like the media and like being influenced by it. But when they would get cards like that at the mall for me, they would just be like, oh no, like you don't want to do that kind of thing. So I was just like, okay. I don't know, like I didn't really understand. I was just so young. That didn't really happen nearly as much when I started to get older and be a teenager, to where I really started to feel more that way, that I might want to do that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, we've always been in small towns, so I kind of wish that, like, damn, like, why couldn't that have ever happened for me as an adult, like, trying to get, like, discovered, like, why couldn't somebody ever just come up to me as an adult and hand me a card and be like, hey, want to be on a TV show, or, like, want to do this cool job that might be something you would enjoy, and, like, it's just so weird, like, why would that happen just when I was, like, so young that I couldn't even really, like, think about it much? Whereas, yeah, when I got older, teenager and adult, and I actually did kind of want to do that stuff more, so I was like really thinking about it more, that never happened any of the rest of the time, which is strange. But now, honestly, like me being in the sex industry now, me being a stripper, and yeah, with this thing that I got in the mail about my mom having like this thing to get money if I die, I'm kind of wondering now, what if those cards that they were getting at the mall were not for TV shows? What if they were for something a little more sinister? A little more like related to the sex industry. My brain just goes so many dark places with this now. There's stuff, I guess, related to being in the sex industry. There's a concept that I'm vaguely aware of now because I've seen stuff about it posted on Facebook. That's where I first came across this term that I'm not gonna specifically say right now. You know, being in the sex industry. I had never, like when I first started dancing, I had never heard this term. I had never come across this concept. I really didn't know anything about it. And I still don't exactly understand it. And I don't really even want to. I don't want to research it. It stresses me out too much. But this concept that I came across about being in the sex industry and what can happen with that, I never heard about it. I never knew anything about it, had heard the term, anything like that, until a couple years ago on Facebook. Actually, it was around 2020, go figure, when the club was closed. Yeah, is when I think that's when I first heard this concept and became a little more aware of the term and the concept of stuff that can be related to being in the sex industry. It's also, all of this is just also confusing to me and stressful, and I just don't know what to make of anything, you know? It's like, what is going on? Do I want to know? Probably, at this point, probably not, or I don't know. I just don't, I don't know, you guys. I wish Paris was here right now so we could just do a fun video together, just like asking each other silly questions and just like laughing and smiling like I was yesterday. I don't know. Me doing my YouTube, something before I forget that I wanted to mention that kind of ties into this topic, I think, a little bit. If I were to die before my mom, or if and when, whatever, obituaries really drive me nuts. Because most of the ones that I read for other people are like 2 sentences or like a paragraph or 2. It's not even like a full essay's worth. People write longer YouTube comments, like all the time. People write longer comments on social media, much longer than most obituaries that I've read and that I've seen for other people. Obituaries that I come across for other people usually seem to be pretty short, and they don't really tend to say jack shit. You can tell that whoever wrote most of them, I've read a couple of them that were like pretty good, I guess, but most of the ones that I've read don't say jack shit, and it just feels like the person that wrote them didn't really give a shit and doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about for that person. And I feel like the way that obituaries, most of them seem to be approached and done, it's kind of outdated to me, because now, what about social media? Like, if I were to die, I would want my work to be more known and mentioned and appreciated. I'd want like my YouTube channel, you know, like I'd want like my photography, my writing. I've been trying to write a book for like 2 decades pretty much. I'd want my work, and yeah, my social media stuff, like my Facebook pictures. I have so many pictures on my Facebook. I have so many videos on my Facebook of me on the pole at the club here. So that to me is like my work, you know, like it's stuff that I've worked so hard at and so hard on. it's just stuff that means so much to me. And especially, yeah, being in the like sex industry, being a stripper, it's like people probably wouldn't want to mention that. Nobody really knows about my YouTube except for my mom. And I just don't think that she cares about me enough to where that would ever be mentioned if I were to die before her. I feel like this can apply to a lot of other people too with social media. It's like if you really want to get a feel or a sense for how somebody was as a person, if they have any kind of social media, especially like something like a YouTube channel and videos and stuff like that, like I feel like that should be mentioned more in obituaries or like a celebration of life. Like, don't you dare, I guess like the term celebration of life is like more of a concept that people have come up with these days rather than just like, oh, a funeral. Like, let's have a celebration of life. Bitch, don't you dare. People, if I were to die like before my mom or like, I don't know, hopefully not, but anytime soon, people better not try to have a celebration of my life because they don't know jack shit about my life. Like, that would be so fucking insulting and such a slap in the face, just like a punch in the face over and over, because pretty much everybody in my life, even my favorite people, they really don't know jack shit about me. Or if they do, they sure don't seem to care. But I'm a hard-ass worker. I work really hard on stuff, and I have a lot of stuff that means a lot to me. My photography, my writing, and now my YouTube channel, you know, to name a few. And it's like, I just know that if I were to die before my time, before I'm ready, anytime soon, like, people would not mention these things. They wouldn't give a shit. All of this hard work would just, it would be I don't know if it would be, my mom's very trendy with stuff. So you know what? They probably would have a celebration of life. Should get her stupid little whatever, I guess, for money. I don't know. But then, you know, the celebration of life, yeah, sure. They'd be celebrating my death, I probably instead. But even if they wanted to call it the trendy social media trend celebration of life, I can almost guarantee, I would always pretty much put money on it that my YouTube wouldn't be mentioned. It would all just be nothing, as it pretty much has always been anyways. My writing, my pages and pages and pages of the book I've been trying to write, gone. Nobody would mention it. Nobody would do anything with it. Nobody would give a shit. It would all just be gone. You know, it's like, but all these videos that I have on my YouTube now, it's pretty much the essence of who I am. It's if anybody did care or was actually interested in who I am as a person, like, you could get a lot of a sense of that, I feel like, from my videos, but that probably wouldn't even be mentioned. They would have their little celebration of life, you know, with whatever stupid, trendy, crappy bullshit they would want to do, I guess, if they even bothered to do that at all. But, you know, it's just like, that concept really irks me. Like, it's just very obnoxious to me because I do have stuff that I really care about and that I work very hard on. And just to think about that stuff not being mentioned, not being put out there for anybody to really bother with, care about, look into, like, if, I don't know, it's just like, and other people too. I feel like obituaries these days should be modernized. They should be updated to where social media is mentioned for people. Because anybody that has social media that they really care about, like me with my YouTube, and I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers with their YouTube, that should be probably mentioned in stuff like that for an obituary, for a celebration of life. Like, family, friends, anybody that wants to think that they cared about somebody that died, like if they had a social media, YouTube, anything like that, maybe they should mention that, because I feel like that's where the true essence of what people are really like can be found. Not in just like a paragraph or two about some kind of random bullshit, like they went to this school, they grew up here, they're pre-deceased, pre-whatever, post-whatever, these were their family members. Like, obituaries don't say shit. You know, whereas it's like social media can say a whole freaking lot. It can speak volumes and volumes. Even just comments on social media, you know, like can say so much more. And, you know, like, mention that, if anything, especially if you want to try to be celebrating their life. I don't know. It's just weird to me. There was a dancer here at the club that died this year. It was actually Easter that she died. She got in a car accident with her boyfriend. And one of her friends came into the club, and I could tell with this friend of hers, this friend actually seemed like somebody that really had cared about her and like really what had been like invested in this dancer, and like she was clearly very upset at her passing. She was like asking questions, and she wanted to know where her locker was, and she was bringing flowers. And I didn't personally know that dancer very well. I had certainly seen her a lot throughout the years. She had been here a while. We had, casually spoken here and there. We weren't close though, but I did find her Facebook page after she had passed, and there was stuff posted on there from her celebration of life. And her celebration of life, she was extremely artistic. Her art, she had tons of artwork, and her art was just like all the, what do you call it? The thing that they do for like the service, I guess, the celebration of life, whatever they call it these days. Her art was just everywhere. She had like drawings and paintings and just so many pictures of her. And she had always had that artistic vibe to me from what I could sense from her. Like she seemed like a very artistic person, but I didn't realize until I saw that Facebook page with the pictures from the service and stuff. Like she actually had a lot. She was way more artistic than I even realized. I mean, she had like a lot of photography, a lot of paintings, drawings, just all kinds of stuff like that. But yeah, her family and her friends actually seemed to know about that stuff and care about it, which I thought was great for her. Like it was just everywhere, like at her service and stuff. But so that was nice to see for that dancer, but it did make me feel a little bit sad thinking about myself and my life, because I have stuff that means a lot to me too. Artistic stuff has always been like a big passion of mine, but it's like I'm pretty sure, I'm very sure that if I were to die before my family and stuff, like my work would just be gone. That's it. It would just be gone. Not that it's ever meant anything anyways, or probably ever will. It's just nothing. It's just like me, just absolutely nothing, worth absolutely nothing, except whatever cash value, whatever monetary value can go to other people. That's all it is. That's all it'll ever be. I'm just a walking dollar sign for everybody else around me, or whatever. It's like my actual work, what actually matters to me, doesn't mean shit and never will, apparently. When my mom and I were talking, she did too. She was like, well, if you want your stuff to go to me and your brother, like, this is what you do at the bank. This is what you set up at the bank because I was like, I don't want to spend money to have a will, because I did actually look into at the bank years ago. I tried to set up a will for my younger brother to get my stuff, but what the bank said is that it would cost money for me to do it. So when I told my mom that yesterday, she was like, oh no, like there's a way you can do it where you don't have to spend money on it now. Like you just tell them you want this to go to him and I and yada yada. I forget what the term was already, so I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, yeah, everything's temporary, especially material things, but my work does mean a lot to me, I just hate for it to be just gone, and just literally nothing to ever come of it. And I know sometimes when I talk about myself on here, it might sound like obnoxious and ridiculous, like I was so cute as a kid and I'm just so precious and this and that. But I used to trip on mushrooms back in high school, so obviously a long time ago. But I feel like between that and throughout the years, I kind of experienced what some might call like an ego loss. I don't just because I'm in this body right now, I don't necessarily just think of myself as like this one thing. I feel like the universal consciousness of like me being connected and like a part of like almost everyone else and everything else. So when I say stuff about myself that might sound like I'm like obsessed with myself or like think I'm so great, which I really don't, but you know, when I'm like, oh, like I was so cute as a kid and I'm just so precious and this and that. Like I work so hard, and you know, like self-love, maybe it's a little more accepted now, but usually for people to talk about themselves like that is not taken very well by other people. But I'm kind of, when I do that, I'm kind of like trying to separate myself from just this one body, just this one ego that's been like assigned to me for right now. I'm kind of trying to look at myself as though I've already died. I'm kind of trying to imagine that I'm my own angel. Nobody else is going to be it for me. No one else is going to do it for me. So I'm kind of, when I talk about myself like that, I'm kind of trying to, yeah, be my own angel now while I can in this body. I'm trying to use this body to be my own angel for the ego and the self that was inhabiting this body. But I'm kind of trying to like step outside of it a little bit and look down at me now from above, almost as though I already was the angel for myself and already have died. This is so hard to put into words and so hard for me to try to explain. I have to be my own angel. I have to, the things that this person, not me, because we're all everything, we're all connected, it's all, I'm like the universal consciousness, but this person here in this body, myself, it's not just myself, it's just this body, this person has been through so much, has worked so hard, has experienced so many bullshit things, and continues to every single day that they're still existing and still alive, still breathing in this body. I just want that to be acknowledged, documented. I'm saying it for myself because I feel like nobody else ever will. Nothing's probably ever going to come of my work. Nobody's ever going to give a shit about me other than what they can get from me and how they can embarrass me or hurt me or take advantage of me. Or I don't think anyone's ever really going to give a shit about me or my work, me as a person, you know, this person, this body, whatever, in a positive way. But whatever sense of my ego, my sense of myself that I can try to look down on now, as though from the future, as though for when I've died, let me try to do it now while I can still speak and breathe in this body to say this ego, this person right here in that body, in this body, they went through so much and they worked so hard and nobody else ever was there to say or care or do it, you know. This is very, very difficult for me to try to put into words, but in my heart and my soul and my brain, I feel it very strongly. I have to be my own angel. I'm almost looking down at myself from above as though I've already died, even though this body still technically hasn't. This body is still technically breathing for now and in this moment and currently. If my mom didn't take a hit out on me, somebody else will definitely just do it for free. I mean, like, you know, like whatever, I don't care. Like, I exist. I work very hard. I don't really, you know, there's not a whole lot of enjoyment to my existence. I love being on stage here at the club. I love dancing on stage and I love being on YouTube. I'll say that. The rest of it is pretty much just bullshit. Yes, I love stuffing my face after work, but then I'm just immediately like, okay, I have to get right back into work so I can go try to work some of this off and just like put it to use and not just continue to gain weight for the winter every year over and over. Like as I get older, just get, like I have no vices, like really that I can think of other than food, which we need anyways. Like I don't really do anything for fun, enjoyment. Obviously being on stage, dancing is work for me. I consider this YouTube channel, I still consider this work. Like I really enjoy it and I like it, but it's work for me. This is my work, is how I see it too. So yeah, anyway, I just work very hard, and just to think that it's always just meant nothing other than me giving away my money to other people, like bills and just wherever else it has to go for this body to continue to breathe and survive for right now. But my actual work, stuff that matters to me as a person, it's never really seemed to matter to anybody, and it seems like it never will. But I'm trying to do what I can to at least address it right now, and just like address it on this channel, and like as best I can. I'm at least trying to do something, what I can right now in this body, in this moment, while I have this time in this day in this body. Even if it doesn't do anything, at least I've tried. At least, I'm still trying. I'm still working. I'm still trying to do what I can. And yeah, I love being on stage. I love dancing. I love being on YouTube. I look forward to it every day that I do it, that I'm able to do it. But it is still work. And I'm always going to just keep trying to cling on to that hope that maybe someday my work will mean something to someone, because it sure never has seemed to, ever. And it still seems like it never will. But I'm going to cling on to whatever little bit of hope I can muster up still, that maybe, there's got to be a maybe, right? Like in life, there's so many maybes. So there's still got to be maybe a chance of it someday meaning something to someone besides just myself. I don't know. Sorry, this is a lot. Most of this, it's just very difficult for me to try to put the stuff into words, to try to articulate these thoughts and these feelings. But I feel these things very deeply and very strongly. It's just hard for me to articulate this stuff. The sky looks so weird right now. Oh, yes. Okay, they're parking right here, because there's like one car parked in front of me, but the license, oh wait, it does show the state. Never mind. I was like, the license plate doesn't show the state, but it actually does. I don't think you guys will be able to see it. Whatever. Like, I want to show you guys the sky, because there's like one big cloud, and then in the background, it's all very like blue and kind of just like sunny a little bit. Anytime I turn my phone around on here to try to show you guys stuff, I can't see my phone screen anymore, obviously, so I have no idea what you guys can see. Like, I try to like position it as best I can. Okay, so this is just about at an hour. I'm gonna try to I am gonna wrap this up right now. Oh, if the dressing room that I did my live from last night, if that's still unlocked, even if it's not, I'm going to ask them to unlock it again. I'm going to try to go in there if I can. If we have most of the time we seem to have a lot of slow periods, a lot of slow moments here, even at night, the shifts that I work. So yeah, if I can find like a less busy time where I'm not, on stage or doing something later tonight, I think I might try to do another quick live from in that private dressing room tonight, the one that I was streaming from last night, because I had a lot of fun in there. It's kind of fun just like trying to whisper and be quiet and like hear people right outside the door, like, like other doors slamming, and like just like wondering who else is out there, like hearing me say all this like weird stuff, just like kind of trying to whisper and like, I don't know. Oh, and I have the face that I drew for Paris on the pink balloon. I left that in there last night, so I'm hoping it's still there. That balloon is just like slowly deflating. But if it's still in there, I know I've posted pictures of it on here, last night, but I want to actually try to have it on the video if I'm able to do another video later from in there. I'll put it back on my backpack like I had it last night, but this time with the face on it, and just be like, hey Paris, you're still not here like you're supposed to be doing this video with me. But hopefully we'll be able to do that at some point. If not, the questions that I wanted to ask her, I'll just answer them myself for you guys. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll try. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap this up now, try to get a quick shot of the sky, and then hopefully maybe later tonight I can come back on from that dressing room. I really hope so. But lately I've been taking Thursdays off, so maybe, I don't know, if I'm able to get out in time tomorrow for some daylight, maybe I'll still try to get out and do a video tomorrow. Probably not. You know, usually I just kind of tend to sleep in and catch up on sleep on Thursdays when I'm not working at the club. But I do plan to try to come back in for a Friday day shift this week. So if I'm not able to get back on tomorrow, or tonight, hopefully tonight, but regardless, if I'm not able, regardless of whether I come back on tonight, because I would like to try to do that, if I'm not able to come back on tomorrow, I'm hoping for Friday. So probably earlier in the day Friday is what I'm guessing, what I'm probably going to try to aim for with that. So I hope you guys are well. Hold on, somebody's pulling out now. Okay. All right, so peace out for now, guys. Try to get a quick shot of the sky here. And until next time, hopefully soon. Later tonight would be awesome. Okay. Let's see now. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see some of that sky. I have no idea what I was just showing you guys right now, but okay. Peace out for now.